Hello all. Today we're going to discuss about a fundamental problem which we all having different times, no matter wherever you live. The problem that we're going to discuss today is about whether you should buy or rent a house. So I'm going to discuss about with the data in UK because I live in UK. But the same principle is going to be applied everywhere else, and maybe later in the future video I can do the same for other region. Let me know in the comments. So buying a house or renting a house is a fundamental problem, and actually I tried to find the answer on my own, but I couldn't find a appropriate source. So I wanted to do the research on my own. I'm a data scientist, and I do the similar kind of work across. So these are the questions that we are going to answer today. What is the cost of buying a property? Basically, you need to consider initial cost. Okay. What is the maintenance cost of owning a house? What is the average growth of the house price in different city? Because we know it's an investment, and many people say that you should invest it, but is it worth it? Let's see. What is the risk of owning a house? What happens if I suddenly need to move out of the town? So that situation might happen. Today, jobs are moving. You might come across different situation where you have to move. So you have to consider all of this before you buy. Then what is the monthly EMI? Now, let's say you want to move out after 5 years and you want to sell your house. That's not even free. It's not that easy. So you need to spend a lot of money before selling. So how much is the cost? How much are you going to spend to sell your house? So we are going to discuss all of this today. Needless to say that, for example, you want to rent a house, you don't need any capital. But if you want to buy a house, you need to have at least 40 to 50,000 pounds in UK to buy. So I'm not considering all of this. I'm assuming that you already have this capital and you are ready to buy. Then still, should you buy or should you still continue in doing the rent? Let's go there. Okay. So first we'll discuss what is the initial cost. So when I'm talking about initial cost, so you see this link. I'll keep this link in the description below, and in this link is describing the initial cost. For example, it says you may have to pay stamp duty depending on if you are buying it for the first time. Okay, let's assume for this case that you are buying it for the first time, though, so you don't have to pay stamp duty. Otherwise, you have to pay stamp duty up to 2%. Then you have to spend deposit. So obviously, no bank will give you the full mortgage. So you have to. It depends on 5 to 20%, but actually for this case, probably you have to spend 20% of your capital. 20% you have to deposit so that you get a good deal in the mortgage. Then there are other fees like valuation fees, surveyor fees, legal fees, electronic transfer fees, then mortgage fees, like that. Okay. Then there is, as according to this site, so when you are buying an old house, you need to spend an average maintenance cost about 5,700, and then insurance if you want to do it. That's I'm not going to consider that, but that might be an additional cost. So in the end, I've also discussed the practical value. I've discussed with a couple of my friends, and then I try to do this calculation. So this is a programming. I'm not going into that. I don't have that intention. If you are interested to know about programming and all, let me know. I'll create another video. But today we are just going to see the results. Okay. So basically, considering all these facts, this is what is coming. Let's say you are buying a house with 100k. You need initial capital about 28,000. Sorry. So likewise, for example, 200k, because you have to spend initial 20% deposit. Obviously, that means you're taking mortgage only 80% of it. So if your house price is 200k, you need about 48k for your initial capital. 250k, you need 58k initial capital to buy a house, considering all other costs. Okay. Now this one is basically very specific to UK. So we are just going to have, I think this is the most important thing when you're considering buying a house. So you need to know whether your house price is going to grow or not, or is going to go down. We don't know. So there is a public data available in Kaggle. So from this public data, there is a data available for all the house purchase price from 1995 to 2017. So you have the 22 years of data, historical data. And we are going to do this analysis for different cities, and we're going to see what is the average growth. Now, yeah, so this is again the code part. I'm not going into code part. So let's look at it. Luton is a city where I live. So if you see, so D is for the detached house. Okay. So basically it's an individual house. So what it is telling is, if you want to buy an individual house, let's say 2000, okay, it would have cost you about 170,000 average price. If you want to buy it on contrary to 2017, it will be about 48,000. Sorry, 486,000. So close to 500,000. And 2016 was 373,000. So if you see on an average, the house price is increasing. If you see the 2009 and then from 2010, definitely house price decreased. And how much it was down? So for this detached house, it is down to 19%. Let's say, okay, so this number one parameter is for the new house. Okay, if you would have bought a new house, this is what it's going to do, and this is for the old house. Now, if you have bought a old house, 2009, your price is going to be, it would have gone down by 8%. But see, it is catching up later on. Okay, so on an average, you're getting about 7% of return for 22 years. Here again, for the new house, you're probably getting 9% of the return. Okay. So here again, this is for S meaning semi-detached house. This is for the semi-detached house. Your gain is about 8%. This is for the terrace house on the same city. Is 8.5%. So yeah, on an average, you're getting more than 7.5% of return. Now let's say I'm moving into another city, Bedford. Bedford, if you see, again, 2009 there is a slight drop. 2008 and 9 there is a slight drop. But other than those recession period, after this 22 years period, basically, price has always been increasing. House price has always been increasing, which is interesting, okay, because you are not going to lose the money. Whether that is enough for you to buy a house, let's see. So, likewise, you see here again, you're getting 7% in Bedford. Now if you see London, yeah, it's really great. Average return is 10%. If you look at Birmingham, average return is close to 6%. If you look at Reading, average return is 7%. Swansea, so this is a town in Wales. It's southern Wales. Beach town is, so there again, yeah, price is increasing. Its average is 5%. And what interesting is, you see, the COVID situation did not impact the price here at all. Okay, because you see, 2008 it just dropped 3%, but yeah, that's it. Again, Reading, this is St. Albans, so average return 9%. Llandudno is another town in northern Wales, and here again average return is 6%. So apparently what the pattern we are finding is, if you are staying closer to London area, the price has increased more, and even London price increase maximum it's about 10%. And town closer to London is also increasing 7-8%. Hounslow is 9%, which is part of London. Now if you look at Sheffield, it's 6%. So where is farther away from London? Probably price is dropping. Manchester 7%, Cambridge 8.5%, Oxford 8.5%. Now Deal 8%. So yeah, you get the picture. Now I also want to do some analysis based on the price. So we know our common sense tells us that new house price is going to cost more than old house price. Now let's say you bought a new house today and your situation change and you have to sell it next year or within this year. How much are you going to lose? So let's try to find that answer. So if you look at there, this is, let's say I've done some analysis for the town of Bedford. Now you see this is the new house and this one is, the blue is new and this is old house price. So on an average, if you see the difference, right? So difference is about 15%. So basically that means to answer the previous question I asked, if I bought a house this year and I need to sell it out by this year, how much are you going to lose? The answer is this difference. Basically, your house is going to be treated as old. Now, let's say you bought a new house and you want to know, you don't want to make any loss. You decided that, okay, I want to keep my house as long as it takes, but I want to make a profit. So for that, let's look at this year, 2004. Okay, if you have bought 2004 and if I draw a line like that, I see 2006 or 2007 I will make a profit. It also depends when you bought it. So let's say you bought it in 2005, the price is slightly about 220k. Then you draw a line like that and you see it's taking 2013. So that means almost you need to keep it for 8 years to make a profit. Okay. Yeah. So likewise, this is Milton Keynes. It's a new price. Difference is more here. Not all city. Yeah, Luton difference is more. Interestingly, 2009, the price was so high for the new house price, and still you will not make profit today. Okay, so this is Landowner, Sheffield, likewise you have done. Okay. Now let's think about the EMI. Okay, how much EMI are you going to pay for your house? So let's say you are taking a mortgage of 200k. What will be your EMI? Okay, and here we are considering 80%. We are considering the 80% of the price we are taking as a mortgage. So let's say your house price is so this is the graph. It says house price versus your average mortgage. So how much EMI you have to pay for a given house price? That's the graph here. So let's see. If you are buying a house of 300k, considering 20% you are paying on your own pocket, then 80% you are taking mortgage, then your premium, insurance premium, also mortgage EMI is going to be 1076. Okay, then likewise if you bought it for 250k, then your EMI will be 897. And yeah, by the way, I'm not considering that you have taken mortgage for 35 years maximum. I'm considering it as 25 years. So likewise, if you take it for 35 years, your EMI will be less, but you will be paying your mortgage even after you retired. So I don't want to do that. So 35 years is too long. So even if you are 40, that means you have to pay EMI until you are 65, even if you take 25 years. For 35 years, you'll pay 75 years. That's, Now let's try to calculate. Okay, now we also have to calculate the principal amount due, so which we'll use later on. Now let's try to consider what is the cost of selling a house. So, when you are selling a house, you have to pay money to your real estate agents. They will take 1 to 3%. I know roughly they take about 2%. And then again, you have to pay some solicitor fees, other mortgage exit fees. Sometimes, most often, you will see when you're taking mortgage, there is a early repayment fees. That's about 2%. Then on top of that, you have to consider your capital gain tax, because if you are a, say, 30 or 40% tax slab, and let's say you profited 50,000 while selling the house, so 40% of 50,000 is 20,000 is going, you have to pay to government as a tax. So that's bad. But unless you are selling it when you have retired, that's a different thing. When that's your only income, you don't have any job, then you don't have to pay that. But considering that you are earning already, and you are already in that tax slab, so you have to pay. So for my calculation, I have taken roughly 20%. I have taken 30% as the tax slab. Okay. Now let's come to the final thing: price versus rental. So in this case, basically, I don't have the data about the rental amount for every region, but I know practically. For example, I'm paying this house, 2-bedroom house, I'm paying 1,050 per month as a rent, and this house price is roughly about 250k to 300k, not more than that. So considering that, so I'm just taking a hypothetical. I'm taking that house price is 300,000 and your rental amount is 1,050, and then we have done all these calculations. Then what is your break-even time? So here, as you can see, your break-even is coming as year 7. That means the thing here is, when you are buying a house, okay, you have to pay a lot of money from your pocket. That's why you are losing. I mean, your profit is negative. Instead, if you are renting a house, and I have also considered one thing. Suppose you are paying 40,000 pounds to buy a house now today, and so instead of buying, if you rent it, that means that 40,000 pounds you can actually invest in share or stock. Okay. Now, on an average, if you even get an index fund, we know historically it has given you return of average 10%. So that should have taken. So discussing about investment will be a topic for another day. But let's, for the simplicity, consider that you are gaining a profit of about 10% per year. This is what I have considered here, basically. And I've also considered the average house prices increasing 6% per year. So considering all these facts, it's coming around 7 years. So that means, from the question where I started, should I buy a house or rent it? To answer that questions, you have to ask yourself, how long are you going to stay in this country? What is your future requirement? So you have to commit yourself at least 7 years. So you have to decide 7 years from now that you are going to stay in this country. If your answer is yes, you're going to stay here for more than 7 years, then buying a house makes sense, will be profitable. Alternatively, if you look, these are the number of years. So let's say 7 years, you are getting a break-even. Then, if you're staying here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, you see the difference is increasing rapidly. So that means you're going to make a lot of profit if you stay here for 20 years, 25 years. So if you are planning to settle here, if you're planning to stay here for more than 20, 25 years or your lifelong, definitely go for buying a house. Okay. But if you think that, okay, my job is here temporary and I'm going to go back, okay, or maybe my next generation don't want to stay here, okay, I have other problems, I have I need to take care of my parents, I need to go back, and I'm going to leave within 5 years. So yeah, don't bother buying a house. That is my suggestion. However, this answer change if you change your region. For example, if you think of India, I think this year will be 20 years, or maybe you'll never make a profit. So India, right now, in the current situation, probably renting is always profitable. Maybe I'll make another video on that some later day. But yeah, that's it for today. And yeah, obviously I've considered all other things like how much EMI you have to pay. And this is a Python programming. If you're interested, I can go walk you through this Python programming. And you can pretty much do this calculation. This is all public data. I've taken everything from public data, and I'll share this code base and everything if you want to know, if you want to run. And yeah, I'll share everything. So I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.